England are decimated in the West Indies by the resurgence of the Caribbean Calypso in what might be England's worst tour of the West Indies of all time. Podcast number 63 is here. I'm Rob, one half of Leading Edge Cricket, joined by the co-host of the show, Rich.
Hey Rob, how's it going? Nearly fell off my chair there, mate. A bit of a change up on the intro.
I didn't see it coming. It just hit me out of there. Where's the hey guys? Well, there was no hey guys. We're not saying hey guys anymore.
Sorry guys, Rob doesn't care anymore.
I just don't care. But I've got to ask, mate. I've got to ask, and it's one of my notes here. Is how are your eyes? How's your eyes feeling?
My eyes, they're not too bad. You know, contact lenses are in. I'm going all right.
Yeah. Okay, so mine have finally stopped hurting. After what is one of the most appalling two test matches to watch as an England cricket fan.
Right, see where you're going. Yeah, that was pretty atrocious, wasn't it? That's not been fun. Well, certainly not as an England cricket fan, unless you're an England cricket fan that actually wants to see a strong West Indies team. And then there is that little bit behind where you're going, oh, that's good to see, actually. Yeah. I'm pleased for them.
I think most of the cricket world wants to see a strong West Indies team. I think most English people kind of go, yeah, kind of wish we won 2-1 maybe. And then we see a little bit of resurgence. But this has been pretty much a decimation and really hard to watch from an England perspective, especially from the batting and, for me, tactically of some of the things that's been going on in the field. But today, as always, Rob and Rich on the podcast, we're going to break down what exactly went wrong. And just let's give credit where credit's due, Rich. How good were this West Indies team?
Incredible. I think we need to kind of just take a moment as well. You know, when we did a little bit of a look back at 2018, we did a team of the year. And we overlooked a certain Jason Holder that's ranked as the number one all-rounder in world cricket. He was in the 2018 World Cricket 11, wasn't he, as well, on the test side. We have undervalued that man. The way he has pulled that team together has been miraculous. West Indies teams of the last few years, they're not generally on the same page, shall we put it politely. But this team is together. The way they've stuck with it, they've grafted for each other. Bravo, Darren Bravo. He's best known for looking like a bit of a B-Tech Brian Lara, isn't he?
Yeah.
But his, technically flashy and all that sort of stuff, but he is proper corporal digging in this test, wasn't he? And he's one of the main reasons that set him up for a win. They've been exceptional, mate. They've bowled well, they've batted well, they've been disciplined, they've been together. You just can't fault them. You cannot fault the way they've played in these first two test matches.
Nah, Holder, first West Indian all-rounder to be ranked number one since Sir Garfield Sobers. So he's in very, very good company. And a leader amongst men, right? We talk about Virat Kohli's leadership ability. Is there a better leader in world cricket than Jason Holder right now?
I have absolutely no idea. It's a difficult one. He's got to be in a conversation, hasn't he? But it's been a relatively short run, let's say, where we have seen this team together like this. We've definitely valued them, haven't we, and underestimated them. That's absolutely without doubt. And the way he's pulled them together, it's a youngish team, is it? They're not full of big names. There's one or two household names, if you like, but I'm probably being polite by saying that. So the fact that the way he's pulled them together and led them, it's nothing short of incredible. So, yeah, massive respect, massive credit to Jason Holder for the way he's marshalled his troops. And not just the way he's marshalled his troops, to be honest, he's done it from the front, hasn't he?
Yep.
With the bat in the first test, you can't say much more about that, can you? Double 100. And then he's taking wickets. He's picking up wickets at key times. When he's coming on to bowl, generally when it's with Alzara Joseph as that kind of first change, if you like, after Roach and Gabriel have put the foot down on the opening pair with the new ball, he's then he's then come together and he's nibbled the ball around and he's took key wickets. So, yeah, it's words fail me a little bit with this one. I'm kind of wanting to get ahead to England a little bit, but we should just keep saying brilliant performance from West Indies.
The thing that epitomised West Indies cricket over the year, Caribbean Calypso. I used one of your phrases from one of your tweets, Caribbean Calypso. But it was the Caribbean Calypso is what the West Indies and the Caribbean is known for, this flashy, exuberant brand of cricket, which is beautiful to watch. And this top four, let's call it top four especially, grit, determination, just levels of concentration kind of you don't see out of West Indies cricket. And that's not to be rude to them. It's just this is not the brand of West Indies cricket you see. This is a determined bunch of individuals following a leader who go, we know exactly what we need to do to win a test match. And it was brilliant test match cricket from the West Indies.
Yeah, 100%, mate. Can't go any further with it, can we? Really, it's just sensational stuff. England, Rob. We've got to. We've got to. We can't delay anymore. We can't just keep throwing superlative after this West Indies team. I feel like we're delaying talking about this English cricket. Do you know what? I'm going to delay it a little bit longer though.
Oh?
I thought that I'd got onto something when I tweeted out quite some time ago the old Calypso Collapso.
Yeah.
I thought, hey, that's pretty cool of me. This is a tweet that's going to bang. And then I realised that actually when I looked today, I saw on a BBC podcast that they'd actually put Calypso Collapse on. I was like, whoa, are people stealing from us, Rob?
Oh.
Did a little search on Twitter. We were not the first. I was not the first. Didn't invent it. It's been around a while. So, I was getting a little bit excited for a period, but then obviously completely wrong.
Oh.
But I want to claim responsibility for it a little bit.
I'm going to let you have it, mate. I'll let it slide.
Full run up. England. Talk to me.
All right. Let's go... Let's go second test. Okay, let's start off second test and we'll work our way backwards. Interesting way to do things, but second test is what's kind of roaring around us at the moment. So they ring the changes, Rich. Joe Denley comes in to open over Keaton Jennings, and every single English fan around the country goes, yes, finally, 16 test matches of watching this guy nick off, and we get Joe Denley who gets out to a long hop outside off stump, and we all go, oh no, we're still here, aren't we?
Yeah, it's a strange one, isn't it? I would have liked to see Denley when he was announced he was going to be touring this winter. I would have liked to have seen him slotting at that number 3.
Yes,
I think that's the position where I would have liked him best. But we only had the 2 openers. Obviously, it's him as cover, so it's not been ideal, has it? But it's great to see him get his opportunity. I think he's probably going to cling on for the third test. I don't think you can go back to anyone else. And who else is there, to be honest with you, in the squad that's going to do the job? So. It's a frustrating one, isn't it? We just seems to be, Groundhog Day was just a couple of days ago, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And in openers and England cricket sense, we are still there. Apparently, spring is on the way. He did not see his own shadow.
It was it was just again. I'm going to put credit to the West Indies. It was a superb bowling performance on day one of a Test match, but in terms of application and grit and determination. You can't look at it and go, everyone got a Jaffa and deserves to be out. There's some poor shot selections gone down there. There were parts that I enjoyed. Did I enjoy watching Johnny Bairstow go full on counter-attack at number 3 when we're only a few wickets down? Kind of, but then in terms of watching him do it, and that seems to be his only mode of progression in batting is to try and drive everything and keeps getting cleaned up. Not sure he's a number 3, but it's the best we've got at the moment. Josh Butler's had a grim tour, but the one shining light that really came out for me from this England lineup was Moeen Ali. A terrible first test, a pair, and everyone going, why the hell is he in this team? And then a gritty, determined, he got pinned from Shannon Gabriel, they were all over him, he was getting the ball popping up where he got a really good 60. But again, England just falling to the wayside, just not good enough. 187 all out on day one of a Test match. Is it good enough?
The pitch has got to be taken into account, hasn't it? Obviously, both teams play on the same pitch, but that first innings, yes, it wasn't particularly good. West Indies made the most of it, didn't they? Especially the getting stuck into the top 4 or 6. But it wasn't the easiest track. It really, you did need that application, and that's the thing. That's why suddenly Moeen Ali, his 60 stands out like an absolute beacon. Along with Ben Folkes, to be honest, he gritted it out as well, didn't he, for a while, 35 off 89. Bairstow, 52 or 64, it's not a bad knock there, but he's number 3. You see what's going on around you. You've got to be there for the long time. You've got to be looking to bat through the innings and be the guy that's still there at the end. I'm not saying don't try and score runs. That's the aim of the game, but you want to see a guy that gets in, he's seeing the ball well, go on and then make a big score. If he wants to be a number 3, that's what he's going to have to do. And I'm not sure that he will be a number 3 going forward. Application is there, but I don't think... it's a difficult one, isn't it, Rob? Because the batting should have been better. We should have scored more runs, but it was a good track and they did bowl well. So at that point, you are under par. But then we go to the next point, don't we? Can England take advantage with the ball and restrict West Indies and not allow West Indies to get a lead of 100? Because 100 lead was going to win this game. Yeah,
100%. And West Indies, everything that we said about them 5 minutes ago, the grit, determination, the dogged style to go over my dead body was exactly there. Braithwaite, 49, Campbell, 47. Both of these innings, 145 minutes, 225 minutes, Hope, 44. Bravo's the one. 216 ball 50, the slowest ever West Indian 50 and the third ever slowest 50 of all time of Test cricket, a strike rate of 23.14. That is understanding the game situation and batting. And the one thing we didn't mention about this England team, yes, we've got a lot of all-rounders and great white ball strikers, technique. Technique against the very best in the world when the ball is doing a bit. Can you withstand the pressure, get through it, and get yourself in and start batting? And England weren't good enough, and this West Indies top four batted wonderfully to be able to do that.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing. You've got a West Indies bowling attack with Shannon Gabriel that's express pace. You've got Kemal Roach that really knows his game and he's pretty sharp as well. And Joseph, he's a big fella, he hits the deck as well. You know, he bowls really good areas. Jason Holder is pressure. And Ruston Chase, he's hardly been using this game after taking 8 wickets in the first game to win the game, which we will get to shortly, which is still ridiculous. But yeah, West Indies applied themselves. They dug in. You know, like you said, Darren Bravo, that's one of the most incredible innings, you know, you'll see for kind of the bizarre reasons, wasn't it? You know, strike rate of 23. In 216 balls, he only hit the rope twice and cleared the ropes once. A 6. He actually hit a 6 when he's faced 216 balls. I mean, that's awesome. 215 balls for 44 maths. So fair play to them. They got that all-important lead as well. But then again, England, did we take all the advantage of it? The bowlers bowled pretty well. It was great to see Broad back in. Yeah. Broady said himself, you know, he bowled like 28 overs, was it, in a day? He must be exhausted after that. 3 for 53 off 36 overs, 1.47. Ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous.
He was top draw.
Exactly. And he should have played in the first test. This, you know, it's not hindsight. It's just, you know, being kind of obvious, isn't it? Yep. It's knowing what the team should have done. You don't have to be a genius to get that. So Broady should have played. But anyway, Broad and Anderson at the top, both bowled really well. Stokes bowled well as well, backing him up. Curran, that's going to be a conversation about can he adapt? Can he learn how to adapt in these conditions when the ball isn't swinging? Listening to Alistair Cook, he was talking about when Jimmy Anderson first came in the test side, if it wasn't swinging, he was in trouble. But he went away. He learned how to go to plan B to plan C and become a more technical bowler and look at what he became. So let's not write Curran off out of English conditions just yet. But yeah, England bowled well, but they didn't take the chances. We had drop catches. I believe it was Darren Bravo. I forget the point, but was it Butler or somebody? I can't remember. We dropped Butler. Bravo.
Yep.
So, you know, give him a pair of gloves, maybe. I'm not sure. That might help. But if we take that catch, Bravo is then, you know, he's trying to coax the tail home, isn't he? Then suddenly they haven't got a 100 lead, and England can get stuck in again, and England can then apply themselves in the second innings, do what West Indies did. Do what they, you know, what obviously you had to do on this surface, which was make sure you stay there and take time out of the game, apply yourself, grind these quick bowlers down so you have to face more of Ruston Chase and other people. But we didn't. We didn't take a chances. They get a 100 lead, and then it comes to the second innings, Rob, and
it's more of the same, mate. It's literally just more of the same. So the second innings, a nice opening partnership. Denley and Burns surviving, because it was hard work out there and showing grit and determination. And then all hell breaks loose. It goes from 35 for none to 132 all out. So you lose 10 wickets for 97 runs and you bowled out in 42 overs again, and the game's pretty much been and gone. And it's much of a muchness, unfortunately. Burns, that shot from Burns, I don't know if you saw it, but he literally just ran the ball straight to slip, and it wasn't an opener shot. And I like Burns, but that was a poor dismissal.
But he did that, again, we'll come on to it, in previous games he's played, probably the first test as well, he's played that shot with success, getting up and over that sort of area and then playing through. But it's a high-risk shot. If you look at that and it's too close, it's just too close to you. It's one of the most used phrases in cricket, isn't it? No matter what standard of cricket you play, it's too close to cut. That's how you're going to get yourself out. It's catching practice. So it's a really frustrating dismissal for him, isn't it? And then Denley obviously just shouldering arms and leaving one that nips back a little bit. That's not the dismissals you want to see from 1 and 2.
No, Denley was dropped as well, pulling. And it was kind of like a frazzled pull. He was late on the pull. A build-up of pressure, nerves in there. Like his first innings dismissal, wide outside off getting a bottom edges. Yeah, that's nerves. Second innings pulling, nerves, and then shoulders and arms ones that straight through him. And Bairstow driving straight again. You saw it in New Zealand. Trent Bolt got him out a few times, just bowling it full, swinging it a bit, and straight through the gate. The guy, we spoke about it offline, gets bowled more than any other Test cricketer in the last few years. And prime example, your number 3 shouldn't be getting cleaned up every week.
Yeah, he's got to make that decision, hasn't he? He's got to make a decision. Does he want to be there? We've already had, for the last 12 months, Root. Where does Root want to bat? Where does Bairstow want to bat? They need to make a decision, because we're going to get to the other decision soon if Bairstow doesn't start scoring runs, is will he be in the team? Not where does he want to bat in the team? So there needs to be some massive, massive decisions, or at least a heck of a long think about what we want in our top 4 for this England Test side. We could fill an 11 with our 5, 6, 7 and 8. We've got about 100 of those guys that could do a job, it feels like. But the top 3 and 4, we need to make a decision. Joe Root, and I haven't looked back, but it just feels like it's a while since we had a run of nice form from Joe Root.
Yeah, Test cricket, you're exactly right. He averages under 40 since the start of 2018, as I'm trying to pull up stats to give you more in-depth detail as we chat. But honestly, it has been a long, long time since he was doing well. Here we go. Here's the stats. 2017-2018, he averaged 43, but didn't score a century. 2018 and 2018/19, 12 Test matches, averaging around 30. So you put those together, it's not great. There's 2 centuries in a couple of years, 9 50s, which is always a Joe Root problem. Scores a lot of 50s, but doesn't convert as of the last 3 or 4 years. And the average is mid-30s. And then that's one of the top 4. One of the top 4 players in the world, apparently.
Exactly. Took the words out of my mouth, mate. We've always been speaking about Root, haven't we? Ever since we started doing this, it's Root, it's Williamson, it's Kohli, and it's Steve Smith. There's your top 4. we need to maybe start reassessing this at the minute. Maybe there's another pack. There's maybe 1 and 2 going out on their own, and then there's obviously Smith, who's not playing at the minute. But then maybe Root's. If he was running a marathon, isn't he? He's dropped off the front 2, hasn't he? He's let them run ahead. And he's certainly been caught up, if he hasn't been caught up already by others in world cricket. So, it's not just his batting, is it? That we're looking at, Rob. It's the captaincy. That's what's come under the microscope, hasn't it? After these last couple of Test matches, a lot of criticisms over the way he's been, field placements, bowling bowlers from, arguably the wrong ends. He's not really been on his absolute game. So, that's going to be the question mark. And I think we kind of put that out as well, didn't we? Whether that was one of the issues.
Yeah, we did. We put it out to the audience. We asked the audience on Twitter. So we asked 2 things. England's biggest batting problem, which we'll come to soon. But Joe Root as a captain, yes, no, or we haven't got anyone else. We're a bit screwed. So 16% of people said yes, he's the right man. 56% of people said absolutely not. And 28% of people said we've got no one else. The thing that stood out for me, Rich, was tactically, we were all sorts of wrong. You saw this West Indian team, they had slips galore. You thought they had 13 men on the field. They had that many round the bat and in slip and in gully and fly slip and short catching on cover. England, the ball was just flying through. Ben Stokes was absolutely superb with the ball in all 2 Test matches. So unlucky. Broady, so unlucky. Ball flying through where 3rd slip should be. Ball flying through where 4th slip should be. It's not good enough in a game where there's going to be chances.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%, mate. And this is the thing, isn't it? When this series is all done, the selectors, the coach, the panel, whatever they want to do before the Ashes series, they need to sit down and have a damn good conversation. Like I said, who's our openers? Who's going to be number 3? Where does Bairstow bat? Can we afford to have all these kind of flash players in the side? Your Butlers, and the captain. The captain has to be a question. Not saying there has to be a change for the Ashes at all. No. But does Joe Root want to play? Are we going to get the best version of Joe Root as captain? Is there anyone else that can do the job? Massive questions. We're not going to answer them now. It's just something for the future, isn't it? But this game, it came to a pretty quick conclusion, didn't it? This team went down like a domino rally almost, wasn't it? And it took 2.1 overs for West Indies to knock off the target of 14 runs to give them the Test win and the series win. So it couldn't have been more conclusive, could it? And it's just there's so many questions now. 3rd Test as well, isn't it? That's another question, Rob. Where did they go at that point?
Oh, I don't know. There's only so many players in the squad. Like, we was chatting before we came on air going, who the hell do you put in? Then you look at the squad and it's like, hi, there's not many changes you can go with. So I'm not sure what changes they make for the 3rd. But I do just want to give a massive shout out. Alzari Joseph, we chatted about him as well. Just incredible performance by this man. So his mum passed away just before the start of day 3. The game finished on day 3. Emotional day. Can't imagine what the poor lad was going through with a cricket ball in his hand trying to bowl the ball. But 2 for 12. Absolutely wonderful spell of bowling,
spell.
Emotional spell of bowling, and one that it seemed like the whole team rallied around. And credit to Jason Holder again, creating that environment where it really does look like a team, a family, a solid club atmosphere where everyone's got each other's back, and that was really good to see.
Absolutely, and this is it's a tragic, obviously news for him and everyone's involved in it. And it'd been a long-term illness apparently, wasn't it? It was a brain tumor. She'd fought it. She'd kind of tried to come back, battled through it and whatnot. And it's obviously sadly lost her fight in the end. But the bravery, the kind of the just everything about that fella, about Alzarri Joseph, is just incredible. I'm just I'm proud of that guy, and there's so much love kind of coming from us towards him and the way he conducted himself, and also a little bit of credit for England as well. They showed a lot of respect to him as well, clapped him to the crease, didn't they, and what have you. So a lot of respect all round for how that's been handled.
Yeah, no, it's really good. There's one more thing I want to talk about on the second test, and it's a tweet from Simon Wilde, who did the biography of English cricket, which is an absolutely fantastic read. So 1985-86 Tour of the Caribbean is long seen as the worst ever Tour of the Caribbean all time, and that's where we started this podcast going. They lost a wicket every 40 balls in that series, which was horrific. Worst time, one of the worst times English cricket tour. This series. Let me just break this down. A wicket every 32 balls England have lost in Test cricket across 2 Test matches. That is, I've just used the word club cricket as a nice atmosphere, family atmosphere. I'm going to use club cricket in terms of ability of outcome, and going a wicket every 32 balls. Seriously? That's the standard of Test cricket. And now, Rich, it's not a spoiler. I'm not giving names out, but we had a conversation with an Australian Test cricketer the other day who said there's got to be a standard of first-class cricket, and that's what you've got to be able to reach to be able to be good enough to go and play Test match cricket in Australia. And he was like 900, 1,000 runs has got to be where you're at to be able to go forward. And they play less games than England. Where are those guys? There's guys coming in that average 34. It's a constant problem, and one we're not going to solve today, but I think it's the fundamental structure of the game. And, it's a whole podcast in itself, but there's so many problems and there's so many tweets that have come in about this going, who comes in next? Well, Stoneman averaged 34, Jennings 34. Well, Gubbins is the next man. Well, he averages 34. What happened to the guys averaging 45, 50? And the bigger problem of how the whole season is structured, and there's so much, T20 cricket, and there's going to be 100-ball cricket. What about good old first-class cricket and good old Test cricket? If Test cricket's what you hang your hat on in terms of the ability and how good we are, the shot window for this English cricket team, that needs to be a priority in that county game.
Yeah, well, quite simply, the ECB don't seem to want to prioritise 4-day cricket, do they?
No.
I think that's the first brutal fact that we have to accept. How we improve that, how that changes, I don't know at the minute. That's, like you said, that's going to be a much, much bigger conversation, isn't it? Just to kind of go one slightly different angle when you're talking about the averages coming in, what was Rory Burns averaging? Because he had scored 1,000 runs for 5 straight years when he got his chance. So that is somebody that has got his opportunity on the back of scoring a lot of runs. Now, I'm not saying he's going to be a success or a failure at this point in time.
Yeah.
He needs to score more runs in order to kind of solidify that spot, because he hasn't at all at the moment.
Yeah.
But there is that, isn't there? And also, I look back on people like Trescothick and Vaughan even to a point. I'm pretty sure they weren't averaging 45, 50 when they got in the team, but they had the temperaments. It was clear that they had the temperament. Whether it was the tempo of batting, the discipline, the kind of adaptability, or, just that character that you could tell that these guys are going to thrive at the Test level. And that's the sort of people I want to be looking at when I'm looking at a Test 11. Where are the individuals that you can see that have played Lions, that have played county cricket, that people in the dressing room, people who've played against them go, he's got it. Yeah. I don't know what it is, but he has got it.
Yeah.
They're the sort of players I want to be looking out for.
And another podcast that's coming your way, guys, there's huge spoilers in it, was chatting with a former South African under-19 captain. And the one thing he said about when he went on and played first-class cricket, the biggest difference, it's not the skill level, it's all mental. And the people that have 100% confidence in their own ability are the ones that go and succeed.
Yep, 100% agree, mate. And that's the thing. I don't know how thorough our kind of scouting is at the moment in English cricket. How what level do they go to? How many people are they speaking to before they go and give someone an opportunity? It seems like they get the target on a player. Josh Butler, for example, not criticism, but they clearly want to funnel him into every format. And on talent, rightly so, I'm sure. But are they really looking at all the options? Are they really focusing on the right people? All these openers that have been given an opportunity over the last few years, have they really kind of done their homework and found out if this is the right character, if he's going to fit in the dressing room correctly? Is he going to kind of put a team on his back at the next level? I don't know. I don't know if we are doing it in a minute, but it's like I say, it's a huge conversation, isn't it? Probably for another day, but also great teasers in this conversation as well to 2 upcoming podcasts that we're putting out soon, Rob, with 2 cracking interviews.
Yep, just dangling the bait, just putting a little bit out there. Just, it's exciting times on the pod.
Too right, mate. Too right. So shall we get us up to date? So first test, Rob. I don't want to dwell on it, but should we just quickly West Indies 289 in the first innings is a pretty good score. Contributions from most of the top 6. And this is another reason why Darren Bravo doing what he did in the second test is so impressive. He got 2 in the first innings, and he followed that up with 1 in the second inning. So the fact that he dug in for about 4 days, it felt like, is a great effort. It just shows you how much and how important Test cricket means to him. 289 West Indies. And then this is where it all went wrong. I mean, that bowling attack was it was wrong, wasn't it? It was fundamentally wrong from selection. Curran opened the bowling. He didn't do particularly great. Then Stokes had to bowl a lot of overs, 4 for 59, 5 for 46 from Jimmy. England, though, 77 all out. How the hell are you 77 all out? I'm just looking at the bowling figures as well. Spread around, but obviously Kemar Roach with 5 for 17 off 11. Were they that unplayable when the pitch goes from 289 all out in the first innings to 77 all out in the second inning? How?
Yeah, it was doing quite a bit. But again,
that much?
There's poor application going into this. There's great bowling. Great bowling. But again, some of the you'll be surprised, Johnny Bairstow got cleaned up. Keaton Jennings nicked off. Rory Burns got cleaned up. Joe Root nailed straight in front, gone. Ben Stokes pinged in front. Stokes has started to look okay in periods on this tour with the bat, but he's still scratching for that 1 inning. He's probably a 1 innings guy away from getting that confidence up and being ready to rock and roll. And the tail just, you're up to no good if the tail's in there trying to save your test match like it is for England so many times. And Moeen Ali, a man that's so many times got us out of trouble, well... pretty average in this test match. 2 very soft dismissals, and you're looking at Sam Curran going, can Curran do it again? That should not be what's going on day 2 of a test match.
No, and on the back of that 77, though, when we talk about the 289 for West Indies, or Windies, sorry, they then follow up with 415 for 6 declared. Yes, there's a bit of a middle order collapse. Ali gets a couple of wickets, Stokes get a couple. But then we have Dowrich, 116 not out of 224 balls, and Jason Holder, an incredible 202 not out of 229 balls, 88 strike rate at 200. That's going some. And it's a lot of people getting a bowl. It's where, how can we explain that?
Yeah. I'm going to put this down to a little bit of fatigue. So Jimmy Anderson bowled 30 overs in the first innings, carried that attack, was absolutely wonderful. This innings, he was on his backside. Sam Curran had a poor test match with the new ball. Ben Stokes tirelessly worked, and so much credit to the hard work and competitive nature of that bloke, because he really busted a gut. But then you're down to Adil Rashid and Moeen Ali to bowl a heap of overs. Adil Rashid only bowled 9 overs. Joe Root bowled more than Adil Rashid, because Adil Rashid went at 7 and over. Keaton Jennings bowled 4 overs. It was a really, really tired, poor performance from an England team on a wicket that was offering a lot. But again, West Indies, Jason Holder, just sublime. 23 fours, 8 sixes, 88 strike rate. It was incredible. Completely against the context of how you thought this innings would go.
Yeah, exactly. And then obviously 628 runs was the target. Do you reckon that was enough? Well, I think they could have bowled England out probably 2 or 3 times before they got to that. So 246 all out. Burns 84. That was a good knock for him. We talk about application. He hung around. There was a few starts, and that's the frustration. Bairstow 30, Root 22, Stokes 34, Butler 26. Don't give me those starts, boys. you've got to go on. Somebody has got to go on and dig in. I know it was a lost cause at that point, but at some point, somebody's got to say, I want to bat all day. I want to frustrate the opposition, and I want to get into this series, and I want to give myself time at the crease. Roston Chase, with all due respect to Roston Chase, 8 for 60 off 21.4 overs. He did not turn a ball. Well, all right, maybe he turned one fraction. But, a non-spinning spinner takes 8 for 60 and dismisses a team. I mean, that was... I don't want to disrespect Roston Chase, but that was embarrassing.
Roston Chase took 16 wickets in his first 4 domestic cricket seasons playing first-class cricket. That's what you're up against, lads. And that is what got 8 for 60. And he didn't turn the ball. He just put it on a spot. And now there were positives for England. Rory Burns was great. He looked every bit the Rory Burns that we've been hoping to see. Keaton Jennings did what Keaton Jennings did, and guess where he got caught?
Mm-hmm.
Slip. James Vince-esque.
Yep.
Joe Root, soft dismissal. Ben Stokes, soft. And then it was just a case of people giving the wickets away. Moeen Ali, just awful. Awful, just holding his bat out for an 8-ball duck. Josh Butler picking out mid-wicket. Ben Foakes picking out mid-wicket. It was just terrible. It was terrible to watch. And I bet every England cricket fan that was there in that ground went, 1, well done West Indies, but 2, holy moly, we've got the Ashes this year, and this is what we've got.
Yeah, and the next test is coming up, Rob. We're moving to St. Lucia after this one. The next bit of Test cricket after this is the Ashes. After this series, 5 ODIs, 3 T20s left in the Caribbean. It's then over to Ireland. Then it's Pakistan in ODI series. Then it's the World Cup. It's a long old way, isn't it? And then we get to Australia. So people are playing for places. It seems daft to say it, doesn't it? So early on in the year, if you like. But people have got to show that they've got something. Rory Burns, you've got to go and put this out without any doubt that you are going to be one of the 2 openers. You have that opportunity. Joe Denley has an opportunity to really give himself every chance to solidify a spot in that 11. And 1 or 2 others as well. 1 or 2 others probably just need to... There's a chance that they can go from being pretty solid and pretty sure of their place to being a part of a conversation. So it's a really important test match. I know the series is dead, but this is where we've got to see what people are made of and what characters there are in this squad and whether or not they want to actually pick this up and go and get a win, and also for themselves, selfishly, make sure that they, without any doubt, get themselves locked into this setup as we go forward.
What do you see as the issue to this team? So Trevor Bayliss has come out and gone, it's our one-day international mindset is behind the poor batting. And it's like everyone looks at it and goes, we know you pick the best one-day players in the country and put them in Test cricket and go bat for 5 days, and it keeps failing. And England have done better than expected against India. A great win against Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka was a poor team, but Sri Lanka is a bloody hard place to win. But again, it was on the back of some decent performances from the bowlers, and it almost feels like if the bowling and lower order get us out of trouble enough times, you keep covering the cracks and this will just keep going on forever. Whereas actually the tail end is starting to fail now because it can't get you out of trouble every single time. And the other one is George Doble, Cricinfo editor, called them boy racers. England's boy racers are failing.
I like that. I like it. And it'd be interesting to see what Bayliss would do. If you could sit down with half a pint of mild or whatever with Trevor Bayliss and have a chat. I feel like he's a mild drinker. That's why I said that. And find out what he would want. Do you reckon he wants all these kind of players in this? Are there other types of players that he would like to see at the top of the order? The selection, it seems like this new setup. It seems like if you're performing well in the IPL, if you're performing well in white ball cricket, you're going to get a chance. And, we're kind of reaping what we sow here, aren't we? We're putting players in that are exciting, that are attacking, that are all those sort of words you want to use around that. Yeah. But are they the sort of people we actually need? Do we need 1 or 2 in that top 6 that are not massively exciting? You could probably point to Keaton Jennings and 1 or 2 others, but when you look at them, I don't want to be the hindsight king here, but Keaton Jennings, as soon as he stepped back in the team, I look at him and go, no. He's not going to do it because his technique is not right. It's not good enough to play Test cricket. And it was right. James Vince, cracking player, but his technique is not good enough for Test cricket. We can go on. We can have that. We can list 10 players and we can have the same answer. So, maybe we need to try something different. Maybe we need to go and look for the right character. We need to look for the right technique. And the guy that scores runs in 4 days. I don't care what they do in white ball cricket. I don't care if they can't lay a bat on one in white ball. What do they do in red ball cricket, and how do they apply themselves in 4-day cricket? It's got to be the kind of the mindset as we look forward to the summer.
Can you remember there was a guy who used to play for New Zealand called Mark Richardson back in the 2000s?
Bit of a
and
plonker, eh?
He is a bit of a plonker. He's a bit of a TV personality out here these days. He's on 7 Sharp, cutting
guys.
But limited ability in the nicest possible way. I think he was a spinner, turned himself into a batsman, but average mid-40s for New Zealand at a strike rate of about 30 and would just bat all day. Where's that sort of cricket? Where's your Jonathan Trott? Where's your next person that just loves batting and not getting out? Because it's great to be fearless. You know, some of the best teams have been based on playing fearless cricket, but there needs to be a time where consequence outweighs the fearing. You go, I'm going to use my head. I'm going to do things sensible. Because since the start of 2018, Rich, only 4 times have England scored 350.
Ouch. Ouch, ouch, ouch. I don't know where to go with this, mate. I think after this series, I think we probably need to wrap it up and actually look ahead a little bit and just have a little chat around who we think is going to stay in this setup and who is not. And then we're going to, obviously, that'll present a few gaps, won't it? And as we get close to the English summer, we can look again as well and kind of say, look at who we think will be the players that will make that step up and maybe put themselves in the frame. Just off the top of the head, though, quickly, I know that our friend of the podcast, Chris Tall, has been talking about Ian Bell again. He's a big Warwickshire man. He's Mr. Tall. And I can see where he's coming from. I genuinely can, because when you have this amount of failure, maybe you just need somebody that's been there, done it, and you know what you're going to get from him. But my response is maybe we need to find the next Ian Bell.
Yeah.
And maybe we need to go and make sure we can find those types of players, the Joe Clarks or whoever it might be.
But can you remember, England were going to the Ashes and the batting lineup was a little bit fried, and Mark Rampakash had been scoring 2,000 runs a year for the last 5 years in his mid to late 30s. And everyone was going, why don't we give Ramps one series? He's the most prolific batsman that county cricket's seen in generations. Give him a shot. He's mid-30s. He knows his game inside out now. And the England selectors said no. We're going to show faith in the next generation of players. And it worked, because England have been a very good test team since there. And it needs... I agree with you. I loved Ian Bell. I loved watching him bat one of the best cover drives in the game.
Oh, beautiful.
But his time's been and gone. But we do need to find someone that can come and solidify this. And I'm going to leave you on one more stat here, Rich, because, stats. Knowledge is power. Most balls faced in this series, and it's a telling story. The top 5 players with the most balls faced are all West Indians.
Yeah.
That is, again, pure technique, application, concentration, and being able to get the gumption and balls out there to go, I am not going to get out. Get me out over my dead body. I'm not going to get cleaned up playing a big, expansive drive. I'm not going to guide the ball to slip. The only one that I'm going to give some heart to, and second test match, I thought Joe Root got 2 good balls. He got one that blew up on him, and he got one that nipped back that went to DRS, and there was the tiniest little faint glove on. So slightly unlucky to get 2 really good balls and get out in that way. But his second innings dismissal in the first test was pretty abysmal.
Yeah, fair play, mate. Yeah, I think we've just let's see what happens in the third test, and then we will have another chat, I reckon. But our predictions are looking pretty ordinary at the minute. I think I said 2-1. What was yours?
Mine was 1 apiece.
Well, that's probably better. That's giving more respect, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It is.
Right, should we move across to Australia, Rob?
That feels like a nice place to go, because as we talk about the demise of the English, there's one thing that's for sure: when the Ashes are rolling around, the Aussies get themselves going.
Yeah, it feels like 5 minutes ago, England were having an incredible series in Sri Lanka. We'd done something historic and we were looking pretty good, even though it was a pretty ordinary Sri Lankan side. But now we're 2-0 down in the West Indies. Australia are hosting Sri Lanka, and obviously we all appreciate this is not the the strongest Sri Lankan team. But Australia is starting to look good. They're starting to answer a few questions. And they will be getting the likes of Warner, Smith and Bancroft back in the not too distant future. What's most important as well, their bowlers they seem pretty fit at the moment. Pat Cummins, man of the match in the first test, Rob. Australia won by an innings and 40 runs. Now that's convincing. The innings, when you look at the scores, though, it's not quite as impressive. 323 was the highest score in the game. And that was Australia's. So you're not going to. That must be one of the lowest innings sort of to have an innings result in Test cricket. But yeah, Pat Cummins got man of the match. He did pretty well. There's no one really did anything. Sri Lanka 64 with Dick Weller in the first innings, and not much to write home about. But Australia, a few starts. Marcus Harris made a few runs. Marcus Labuschagne, he got 81. Travis Head 84. That's important. See Head scoring some runs, and a couple of debutants as well. Is it Curtis Patterson? Rob, we were saying he got himself 30. More to come with him as we look at the second test in a sec. So who was the other debutant, Rob?
Jai Richardson.
Jai. So good looking, pretty good, convincing game there for Australia, really, wasn't it?
Yeah, they played so well, mate. So I catch this quite a lot. It's on in the office while I'm concentrating.
Nice.
So it's on the TV screens. Plus, they show the highlights packages on the New Zealand TV. So I do get to see quite a bit of this. The key takeouts is Jai Richardson swings the ball like Jimmy Anderson. Literally, he is. You go into England to play the Ashes, he could be a handful over there. I was really impressed with how he looked as a cricketer. And batting, Travis Head. I've liked Travis Head for a long time in the one-day arena, but he's just starting to take to Test cricket. And Pat Cummins, holy moly, he was bowling gas.
10 wickets in the game for Pat Cummins. You've got Mitch Starc. You've now got the second coming of Jimmy Anderson. Nathan Lyon. That's a pretty formidable bowling attack, isn't it? Especially coming over to English conditions. So this Australian team, we're going to have to keep an eye on them at the moment. Second test, we're pretty close from day 3, I think it's going to be. They've set Sri Lanka basically 500 and change runs to win. So they need another 499 runs as we sit at this moment as we record, Rob. It looks like it's going to be a 2-0 victory to Australia. Australia seem like they're doing pretty well. The first innings for Australia is what I'm interested in. 534 for 5.
Yep.
We have a century for Joe Burns, 180. Not just centuries, but big centuries. Travis Head, 161. Curtis Patterson, second test match. He's got his first test 114 not out. That's pretty impressive going.
Yeah, it really is. This Sri Lanka team got decimated a little bit by injury, and there was huge change around in the bowlers and who's out there. But they went off like absolute gas. Fernando picking up the wicket, got Khawaja was an awful shot. Labuschagne went pretty early. And then Burns and Head just, they batted solid, they batted calm, and then just started to go. The more and more they got in, and in the basis of basically 64 overs, they put on 320. It was brutal, it was carnage, and for an Australian cricketer to see Joe Burns come back into this team and start scoring runs is absolutely huge. We talk about England's failings at opener. Australia have got the same problems. I know they've got Warner that's going to come back in, but talk about putting your hand up going, I'm going to be the guy, I'm going to go and smash 180. Travis Head, imagine Steve Smith coming in at 4 and then Head at 5 and then Pattinson, who went and got 114 at 6. They're setting themselves up really, really well.
There's some nice players around, isn't there? Renshaw's another guy that's going to be there or thereabouts in this squad. So if the likes of Smith and Warner and even Bancroft can put themselves back in contention, this Australian setup is starting to look a lot stronger than it was a few months ago. So it's definitely worth keeping an eye on. And Joe Burns, he's still looking as scruffy as ever. I'm sure he had a big rough beard last time I saw him.
He's a right scruffy bugger. So is Curtis Pattinson as well, if you ever get to take a look at him. Very, very scruffy. The other takeout I'm taking from this, Mitchell Starc's come under a little bit of... little bit of grief lately for
from
not taking enough wickets. And he went and stepped up and got 5 wickets in this game and bowled fast and sharp and looked like Mitchell Starc looks. So
good. So it's not. It wasn't just about sandpaper then. That's what you're saying, Rob. That's lovely to hear.
It wasn't just sandpaper. But interestingly, his stats definitely did drop off since Sandpaper Gate. Also, talking about the ball swinging and stuff like that, Jason Holder swung the ball more in the West Indies by about 0.5 degrees than any other player. There you go, stato.
Who needs to be 6'8" and a quick bowler, right? 6'8" and swing it. That's what it's all about.
Exactly. But Aussies look strong, mate.
Yes, they certainly do. But Sri Lanka, yeah, I mean, there's not a lot going on there, is there? Some people trying to grit it out. Karuna Ratne in particular. He got himself 59 in the first innings. He ended up in hospital, didn't he, as well, in this test match. He took a real brute of a ball to the head, got himself in an awkward position. And thankfully the extra padding and whatnot is around there. But he ended up in hospital, but he's come back in the game and he's good to go. So that's a great bit of news that he's fine, because he's been one of the best players around in the last 12 months. He was in our team and the official Test Team of the Year, wasn't he, as an opener? So you just hate to see that, especially in Australia as well, with what happened to Phil Hughes, and obviously you don't want to see any repeat of that. So it's great to see that he's okay again. The game, again, another declaration for Australia in the second innings: 196 for 3, 101 for Khawaja. So we're sharing those centuries out. Travis Head following up his 100 with a 59 not out. And it's just going to be, I think it's going to be a procession. I think that they'll get bowled. Sri Lanka will be bowled out for about 200, if that. And Australia will take this 2-0. And I think it's a good bit of cricket from Australia, and it's come at the right time, isn't it?
Yeah, 100%. They look strong. They look raring to go. They're getting a great feel, because when Smith and Warner comes back into this team, their biggest problem has been scoring runs. You put two world-class players. You might not like some of them, but world-class players into this lineup with Burns, who got 100, Khawaja got 100, Head got 100, Pattinson got 100. All of a sudden, you've got a Test team that's in pretty decent nick going into the Ashes.
Yeah, 100%, buddy. Just one bit of other news, just to link in with Australia. Will Pukovski, talented young batsman, he's been in the squad for this one. He's pulled out of the squad, basically managing his well-being, as they put it. He's going to go and help him get prepared and go and play for Victoria. He's somebody that the gentleman we had a chat with recently did pick out with one other young player that somebody's look out for in the future of Australian batting. That's going to be a worry as they go forward. He's had some issues previously, so obviously all the best to him. But that's to really kind of keep an eye on. But a really, really talented player by all accounts. But obviously he's got some issues that he just needs to overcome in order for him to step up into that Test arena. Jumping across the little bit of water there, Rob, to your neck of the woods, New Zealand. Last time we caught up with you, mate, the Indian ODI side had won the first 3 ODIs, Rob. Things were not looking good in New Zealand. How did things go from there, Rob? 4th ODI, any better?
Amazingly better. They went down to Hamilton at Seddon Park. Will, who was on the podcast with me, he went down to watch it as well, so he's obviously a bit of a good luck charm that's going on. But there was a huge change in this Indian lineup. They gave games to Shubman Gill, who had been told, you've got to see this guy, you've got to see this guy. Well, he played. Ahmed played, Chahal played, Kuldeep Yadav, Kumar, Pandya. There was a huge rotation in this team, which is fair enough. But the big difference between the first 3 one-day internationals and this one, the ball swung. And India were all at sea. 92 all-out batting first in a one-day international against New Zealand in 30 overs. Trent Boult bowled straight through 10 overs, 5 for 21. Colin de Grandhomme came on, picked up 10 overs, 3 for 26. 1 for Astor, 1 for Jimmy Neesham at the end. They were literally blown away by Boult. It was magical, magical bowling. Very similar to what he did to England in Test match cricket. He just gets the ball full and just starts it tailing in late, and LBWs, caught and bowls, 2 caught and bowls thrown into the mixer. It was just, they were in such a mess. 11 overs down, the 5 for 33, the 8 for 55 when Hardik Pandya went. They were in such a mess. 92 all out, to which New Zealand went on and batted really well. Colin Munro was dropped, which was big news. Henry Harvey-Nichols came in, got 30-odd not out at the top of the order opening. And Ross Taylor, 37 not out. So an impressive performance from the Blackcaps, Rich.
Convincing, that was, mate. Where were they for the first 3 games? I mean, the series was won, obviously, coming into this game, wasn't it? 3-0 at that point. So, where has this performance been for New Zealand?
I don't know. It's just, it's one of them. As soon as the ball starts swinging, Trent Boult becomes an even more dangerous sort of player. You hold the Boult and Andersons when the ball's swinging in such high regard. The difference being for me still that Jimmy's, and we spoke about it earlier, Jimmy's ability with the ball when it's not swinging is greater than Trent Boult's. And that's why Jimmy's been so good for so many years. He's adapted well, but Trent Boult when the ball's swinging is so dangerous. And there's still questions for this New Zealand team as we roll on into the 5th game, which was yesterday in Wellington. So again,
did they win?
India batted first. Mm-hmm. 252 all out. Again, blown away at the top. They found themselves 18 for 4 and 116 for 5 with 20 overs to go.
In the bag. It's New Zealand's game.
It is. Trent Boult 4 wickets. Matt Henry 4 wickets. Trent Boult 3. And then Ryudu batted superbly and then went big at the end. He ended up scoring 90. Shankar got 45. Yadav got 34, and Hardik Pandya 45 off 22 balls, 5 sixes. They went blitz, got the score up to 252. It's only 5 and over, so you'd give the Blackcaps a chance, right?
I would definitely at that point, mate. Yeah.
So changes in the lineup again. Colin Munro comes in for Martin Guptill at the top of the order. Colin Munro, 24 and out. Nothing but fails in the last year in one-day cricket. Harvey Henry Nichols opening the batting fails. Kane Williamson batted his way to 40 and then got himself out. Bit of a shame. But Latham, Neesham, they got themselves going in the middle order, but they ended up 119 for 5, chasing the game, and eventually were 217 all out. Not batting all 50 overs for the 4th time in this series. So India cruised to an easy 4-1 win in the series. 35-run victory. New Zealand are going to find themselves very disappointed with how they've performed.
Yeah, I think so as well. And New Zealand, I think they're probably starting to see themselves, especially within the camp, as one of the favourites for the World Cup, aren't they? So they're going to be really disappointed in home conditions against India to kind of lose 4-1. You would have hoped for a really tight series at worst for the host there. So it'll be interesting to see how they go in the T20s. You've got 3 of those coming up, Wellington, Auckland and Hamilton over the coming week or so. I'd say New Zealand are going to be really disappointed with that, but India, they've got to be absolutely delighted with how they've responded and just kept things going. And it's been an interesting winter, hasn't it, for them? So it's a good solid result for them.
Yeah, it is. India were the better team by a country mile, and when you had Kohli and Dhoni and those sorts of guys in there, Kumar, they were leaps and bounds above this New Zealand team, and we spoke about it in depth on the Blackcaps podcast, but there's questions around openers in one-day cricket because the Blackcaps game was based on the Baz McCullum way of playing, of going and smashing it, bat the middle overs and then go big again at the end. So you bookend it. Whereas at the moment they're not getting a start and it's putting pressure on the middle order. So they've got problems there. And they've also been struggling in this series to try and work out what that 5th bowler looks like. And looks like they've gone for a bit of a mixer here, bringing Jimmy Neesham into the order at 6 or 7, he can go big with the bat, but he's bowling a little bit hit and miss sometimes. But they're just trying to get 10 overs from somewhere to go with your Matt Henrys, your Trent Bolts, Mitchell Santners and guys like that.
Yeah, no, absolutely, mate. It's good. Well, we'll keep following that one, obviously, with you being the eye on the ground there in New Zealand. So we'll keep following that team as they build up towards the World Cup. One other, I'm not going to go into detail on this at all, but it's just worth mentioning and give them the respect they deserve. South Africa are hosting Pakistan. It's been an incredible, pretty incredible for South Africa. 3-0 in the test. They beat Pakistan 3-2 in the ODIs, and they're 2-0 up in the T20s, with the second being played today. Bit of a nail-biting finish. I actually got a chance to watch a little bit of this one. Pakistan just fell short. Babar Azam, 90. Did really well, and I just need 1 or 2 more of these Pakistani players to step up at the moment. But South Africa have got a bit too much juice for them. 1 to play to finish this series. Rob mentioned earlier, we've got a hell of an interview coming up soon with an ex-South African under-19 captain. He's played with and played against just about everybody, hasn't he? So that's going to be a really interesting look into South African cricket. And I think on the back of that, we might want to just touch on a bit of South African cricket as well, as a kind of a link in there as well, because we probably haven't talked about them in the last 6 months or so as much as we probably need to. But that is something coming up, and we're excited about that. And the other interview that we teased earlier, which is a heck of a coup for us.
It is. It's massive, and that will correspond to when the website goes live with all the riders. So we've got about 4 or 5 different guys that's sent through articles at the moment, which is exciting, and we're into kind of final reviews of that website to get it live. So really, really excited with what's coming up on the podcast, our plans, and 2019 as a whole. Not just our stuff, but the World Cup, the Ashes, life. It's all good.
It is. It's all good, mate. And the website's going to be, we've got a little holder in there, isn't it? What's it called? The Leading Edge. Is it just the leadingedge.com?
Leadingedgecricket.com.
leadingedgecricket.com. If you find your way over there, go and bookmark it already. You'll see that we are fiddling and tweaking with field placements, as the holder says. So we're on there. We're getting close. Branding's going to be updated. The website's going to be there. It's going to have all the articles, obviously all the podcasts, all the interviews. And it might even have a little cheeky link to a shop, Rob?
Yeah, it may well be. It may well do. I can't bloody wait.
Cannot confirm or deny.
You sounded like Torley then when you said that.
That's what I meant to do.
Oh, bloody brilliant. I think that's it from us for today. England's frustrating. I remember tweeting about 5 years ago saying you need a little bit of dementia to be an England cricket fan, and Yeah, I feel like this is going to be one of them. When the Ashes rolls around, we forget about the West Indies and we all get behind them. We go, yeah, I really believe we can win again.
Exactly. Hey, we've got a lot of white ball cricket, a lot of important white ball cricket coming up in between this next test and the Ashes. A lot can change. A lot of these players that are playing, that's where they really make their money, isn't it? So if they perform brilliantly over the next 6 months or whatever it is, we'll all be optimistically looking at this Ashes series. But yeah, just bring it all on. I want to see how they respond in this third test, Rob, and I want to see if West Indies can continue it. So it's going to be still a lot of interest and a lot of points to take out of the third test coming up.
Yeah, definitely, I'm afraid. Well, thank you very much for your time, as always. We're an hour on the clock. The podcast is going to be out, and we're going to be ready for the third test of West Indies versus England. And, yeah, my eyes. Till next time.